Yo, what's up? Welcome to another Carside review. Well, that certainly was a chapter of Dragon Ball Super, wasn't it? Chapter 67 wraps up the Moro arc, and to be honest, my initial reaction is that it's significantly less interesting than what I predicted. Now, the last part of the chapter was pretty entertaining and pretty interesting, setting up the next arc with Granolah. And that seems to be very intriguing, although the stuff with 7-3 seems really fan servicey. But we'll get into that in a second. Pretty much wrapping up the Moro arc, it's nice seeing all of the heroes kind of enjoying life at a picnic, basically, at Hercule's garden. That was nice. And seeing those characters in those situations is always great to see. I do wish there was more like dialogue between the characters actually talking about what they might have learned from the Moro arc and all that stuff. And at the aftermath of the explosion when Goku defeated Moro, Vegeta asked Goku where that hell that energy went, and Goku kind of plays it off saying, I don't know, maybe we'll find out later. So Goku definitely knows where it's from. So I think it's interesting that Oob has all this like potential God Ki. And initially, it didn't really make sense to me that he had all this pent-up God Ki, because that God Ki comes from Kid Buu, and that Kid Buu God Ki comes from the Grand Supreme Kai, who, with all that God Ki, was having a very difficult time against Moro 10 million years ago. So it doesn't really add up to me that the Grand Supreme Kai, with all this God Ki, was having trouble with a way weaker Moro 10 million years ago, and then he used up a lot of the God Ki using his magic sealing technique, if you remember, and then 5 million years later, he was absorbed by Kid Buu. So that's where Kid Buu gets his God Ki. So that didn't really add up, but I think it's interesting that they do set up that Oob, they're giving reasons that Oob is special, you know what I'm saying? Sorry for, this is just a Carside review. I'm at break during work, so I really just want to talk about this chapter. And, it's just, I don't know. I thought it was kind of boring, to be honest. There was a lot of just chit-chatting, between Jocko and what's his freaking face at the Galactic Patrol. And they just talk, they go on and on and on about 7-3 and the signal coming from the freaking crater on Earth. And it's unnecessary. Like, there's so much time devoted to them just talking about this signal coming from the crater. But the thing that really kind of gets me the most about this, that's the most disappointing, is that everything is just kind of reset. There's no lasting consequences for our characters and for the universe as a whole, because we got the Dragon Balls and we got to bring everybody back to life except for Merus. Now, Merus is the one thing that I thought would be great if he just stayed dead and there would be actual consequences. But no, we can't have consequences. But who knows, maybe they'll actually do something with it in the future. I don't have high hopes or faith in that, though. But because it is Dragon Ball, it's pretty par for the course for Dragon Ball to be highly just derivative of itself in every arc, just kind of making things back to the way they were before the arc started, except now Goku has mastered Ultra Instinct and Vegeta has forced Spirit Vision, so there's that, I guess. Which brings us to Merus, who is alive because the Grand Priest decided to make him alive because the Supreme Kai told him to trade their lives, but he decided just to bring him back to life and not trade their lives. That's dumb. Merus being alive again, I really hope there's a plan for this, and there's a reason to bring him back other than characters just can't be dead. You know what I'm saying? Why can't characters just be dead? Why can't, bringing back the people who were killed by Moro and his men in the universe, there's no reason really to bring them back other than the characters are able to do so, so they do. Also, speaking of that, real quick before we get back to Merus, why didn't Vegeta go back with Goku to bring Eska back to the Namekians? That was Vegeta's whole big thing in the whole Moro arc, was that he was a villain and wanted to kind of get retribution for his past actions against the Namekians. And then he doesn't even go back to bring Eska back home. He's the one who saved Eska initially. In fact, Vegeta should have just gone back with Eska without Goku. You know what I'm saying? They should have all just gone together. I thought that was kind of dumb. Vegeta didn't do anything in this whole chapter other than ask where the freaking God Key came from and drink a beer. So that was also kind of dumb to me. But going back to Merus being alive is just straight up dumb unless there is a plan for him to actually accomplish something in this arc as well. His sacrifice was one of the greatest moments from the Moro arc, and now it's basically rendered meaningless, even though it did help Goku trigger Master Ultra Instinct and achieve that, so it wasn't entirely pointless. But now it's just there's no weight to anything. It's purposefully ripping the weight out of Dragon Ball. You know, why should we care about anything that happens if the stakes that are there, if the stakes play out and things happen the way that we're afraid they might happen for our heroes, you know, people dying and everything like that, and it's just wiped clean, smoothed over right after the arc is over, then why should we care, you know? Sure, it's fun while it's happening. It's fun reading chapter to chapter and seeing the action and everything. But in the back of our heads, now we're just going to say, oh, nothing matters ever. Because we have 3 sets of Dragon Balls and everything's just going to revert back to the status quo. So, I don't know. Merus being alive, I think it's dumb. What do you guys think about that? So, moving on to the normal, or not the normal, but the actual progress and going into the Granolah arc. And apparently, yeah, 7-3 is still alive, and apparently he can just regenerate like Majin Buu somehow, which that whole thing, I don't know, I try to wrap my mind to make it make sense that 7-3 is still alive and not Moro. The way I kind of am explaining it in my own head is that, you know, even though Goku destroyed the gem, which was the 7-3 part of Moro, so 7-3 should be destroyed, right? But what exploded and actually destroyed Moro was all of the energy that Moro had absorbed. So that was definitely the Moro side of things. Even though the gem had Merus's copy, the gem is destroyed, which factors into this chapter also. So the gem was destroyed, therefore Merus's copy was destroyed as well. So did the gem just regenerate along with 7-3's head, or what is going on with that? Didn't make sense to me. So I don't know. Does that make sense to anybody else? So some 2 like Raiden knockoffs go into the crater and hide from Jocko and the other Galactic Patrol dude, and they bring 7-3 back to the big boss. And for now, I'm just going to call him Big Boss. I don't remember if he actually had a name, but they want to make an army of 7-3s basically, and they keep talking about OG 73-I, and that's his full model number. And the thing is that they keep talking about him like he's special, and I'm sitting here thinking, okay, well, why? Why is he more special than the others? Is it like the experience, the data from the experience that he had on Earth? Is that what's important? Because he shouldn't have anybody's copy, right? He shouldn't have Merus's copy. He shouldn't have Piccolo's or anybody else's copy, because the orb was destroyed, therefore destroying the copy right before he exploded. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know if all these other OG 7.3s are, if they're just regular 7.3 androids. So Granolah busts in there like freaking Star Wars and pops a cap in all these motherfuckers. And that was awesome. He comes in with his little ray gun. I don't even know why he even bothers with the ray gun if he can just two-finger blast all of them in the head like that and destroy them instantly. That's a very... If you remember Power Rangers, the Lord Zed putties had these giant, like, pads on their chest, and you punch them and boom, they're done. Even the original putties didn't have, like, such an obvious weak point. But apparently the Lord Zed putties were just more tougher in general, except for that weak point, which made it easy to defeat them. So, this orb on his forehead, that's a weakness you probably... It's a design flaw that you should probably rectify. Like the Death Star and its exhaust port, you know what I'm saying? So, Granolah, I'm intrigued. At first I thought, oh, maybe he's like a future, or Merus from the future kind of thing. He's got this steampunk laser eye patch telescope. I don't know what to call it. But, I don't know, the design is okay. I like the design. The 7.3 is coming back. A lot of it, including Granolah's design, feels very fan-fiction-y. Or maybe Dragon Ball Heroes. Almost to that level. But, there wasn't much to this. It was just like an action sequence and kind of setting things up. There was no real revelations. So we don't know if Granolah is a good guy or a bad guy. So he's just against that big boss pig dude, or pig-looking dude. But that doesn't mean he's a good guy necessarily, because he could just want OG 7.3 for his own like selfish desires or whatever his goals may be. I guess we'll find out. I liked how his name is Granolah and then his friend's name is Oatmeal. So I wonder if there's more to his group. Like, he might be the leader of like a small squad of people whose goals we don't know yet. I think that would be interesting, and all of their names would be like named after grains. Like, we got Granolah and Oatmeal. Maybe another person's name is Wheat. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. The chapter was fine, I guess. It really dragged. They just chit-chatted for such a long time, and I don't know. It was just fine. What do you guys think of the chapter? Drop your thought waves down in the comments below. Thanks a lot for watching. Take it easy.